Hey everyone, today I'll be rating the performances of the drivers for the F2 2024 Jeddah Grand Prix weekend. Let me know if you agree with them and what your ratings are in the comments below. Starting as always with the ART team. Victor Martins, I'll score a 1. He initially had a really positive weekend, qualifying 4th, but shoved into the wall during the sprint race and an eventual DNF in the feature race ruined his weekend. The start of the season has been a disaster for the young Frenchman, and I've rated him lower than his teammate due to him having way more experience than the next driver, Zach O'Sullivan, who I'll give a 2. Not much better than Victor Martins, also not scoring any points, with a notable spin in the feature race leading to a DNF. Then the man of the hour with Prema Racing is Ollie Behrman. I'll give him a 10. He got his weekend off to a great start getting pole. Then the next day got called up to the Ferrari F1 team following Carlos Sainz's injury. Now that means that he didn't partake in the rest of the F2 sessions, but he did perform well in F1, and that's what matters. The performance he put in and the impact that will have on joining the F1 grid in the future will have more substance than a million F2 points. He currently sits 20th in the F2 standings, but he sits 10th in the F1 standings, and I mean, that's way more important. His teammate though, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, I'll give a 6. He is slowly building up his pace and is showing he is gently acclimatizing to the F2 conditions. We can give him some time to settle, especially as his teammate still hasn't scored a point, but he needs to continue to build on his result with a trio of 6s, 6th in quali, 6th in the sprint race, and 6th in the feature race. He has a couple of weeks now to rest and integrate what he has learned into his driving before the Australian weekend, and he can learn off his teammate and kind of see him as a role model, getting that F1 seat, as that's what he is also trying to do next season as well. Then, the Rodin team. We have Zane Maloney, who I'll score a 7. He redeemed a poor qualifying by scoring points in both races, although lower down the order than he would still like to be. He has shown that he's a title favourite still, and will be hoping for tracks more suited to him and his car in the future. His teammate, though, had a less good journey in this weekend, with Ritomo Mieta getting a 1. He had a terrible time out there, and while his teammate was impressing yet again. He seems to be struggling a lot in these European Formula cars. His first time at a street track though, so I'll forgive him a little bit. Then with the DAMS team, we got Jack Crawford, who I'll give another 7. He had a really good weekend, and we're hoping to be building on it. I would have scored him a little bit higher, especially as he qualified 3rd, but he only managed 5th in the sprint race, and then dropped down to 4th for the feature race, so just stayed in the pack. Nothing special, but also a really good drive. His teammate, it's the same story as always. Worse, way worse. Juan Manuel Correa, I'll give him a 1. He qualified in 17th, then had to retire the car in the sprint, but wasn't showing much anyway. He went long in the feature race, but didn't make his strategy work off like Cordeal did, as he put it and got to the front of the pack, whereas Juan Manuel Correa dropped all the way back down. And now we have the Invicta team with Kush Miney. He has scored a 9 today, because he showed that with this weekend that his pace and brain wasn't a one-off, as he got pole after Behrman's withdrawal. He converted that to a sprint race point and also 2nd in the feature race. He'll be a little bit disappointed letting Fittipaldi pass him in the feature race, but he knows that he can, if he just keeps it clean and a strong weekend after strong weekend, he'll be in contention for the title fight. So he's showing that maturity from an older driver. Gabriel Bortoleto gets 1, 2, 3, 4 points from me. He has been brought back down to earth after a crazy weekend in Bahrain. Unless he had a magnificent weekend, it would be a quiet weekend here at Jeddah. Due to a few DNFs, he worked his way up to 10th in the sprint, still not good enough for points. Then got caught up in the first lap drama that happened during the feature race and DNF'd. So can't really blame him, but also if you don't get points, you're not scoring above a 5. MP Motorsport, we have Dennis Hauger, who put in a reliable performance, and we'll give him a 9. A very, very solid weekend for the lad. A bit fortunate to have Behrman out. Martins DNF both races and Maloney struggle, but he showed up when it mattered and got a win and a 3rd. Needs to keep these kind of performances up when the rest of the field are kind of having these moments and isn't performing to really contend for that title, because He needs to this season, otherwise it's donezo for the Norwegian. His teammate, Franco Colapinto, I'll give it 2. He could have solid weekend, okay qualifying with 13th, but couldn't turn that into points in either race, bumping the wall in the feature race, leading to a puncture and eventual retirement. The VAR team from the Netherlands, Enzo Fittipaldi, another 9, a great performance after not scoring any points last week in Bahrain. Qualified 5th, which led to scoring points in the sprint race, then a great drive in the feature race to get that win. He could have qualified better though, which might have seen him get 10 points in my ratings. Rafael Villagomez, his VAR teammate, 3. He binned it in practice, which meant he couldn't get a run in qualifying due to the car being in pieces. He kept it clean in the sprint, but couldn't turn it into points, as the race wasn't long enough. He redeemed himself in the feature race, taking advantage of tyre deficits and making some good overtakes at the end of the race to work his way up to 9th and getting 2 important points. That should give him some confidence going into Australia next weekend. Then we have Hitech, who put in a surprisingly solid weekend after I didn't expect much of them, with Amori Cadil getting 7 in my ratings. He qualified last, then spun in the sprint race and lost his engine, but all was redeemed with a great feature race strategy, which see him pit later during a safety car, going up the order. He did drop back a little bit down to 5th, but still very, very solid for a team I did not expect to get any points this weekend. Amazing performance, 7. His teammate though, I've rated 1 higher, with Paul Aaron, yet again, being an underdog and kind of a unexpected story this F2 season. He had a great weekend for the rookie and showed again that he's a great driver. Qualified 10th, but he couldn't convert that pole to a win, coming 2nd in the sprint race. Also maintained 10th in the feature race. You might be asking why is he so high in 8th? But that's because he's only one of 3 drivers to score points at every race this season. That has to count for something, and consistency is key. Now the Campos Racing team, and they always like to do things a little bit differently, and they did again this weekend, having broken off their drivers suck. Isaac Hadger got a 2 point from me in my ratings. He just doesn't have any luck, does he? He got a respectable 8th in qualifying, but DNS in both races again. He can't get anything going his way, it seems. Is it the car? Is it him? I don't know, but he needs to fix it, and it's a 2 because it's happened again. Pepe Marti, I'll give a 3. Overall, a disappointing weekend for the double podium sitter at Bahrain. He managed to make it up a few places for the sprint after qualifying 11th, but spun right at the start of the feature race, ending his session. He's still in the fight, but this is a weekend to forget and take some experience coming from and put it into the rest of his F2 season where he's a rookie. Then we have the 3-prong Trident team, and that 3-prong can get another 3 prongs to get 6 points, with Richard Verschoor converting a front row sprint race start to a win, but then got disqualified. Something out of his control, but still, I'll still think about it a little bit and use it in my ratings, but it would have been more, maybe like an 8 if he got a win. It's tough, but that's racing. He managed to climb a place in the feature race, which is a solid drive with a lot of incidents. A 6th. Roman Stanek, his teammate, I love to give out zeros, and I need to give out 0 every race, so this is my 0. Qualified 12th, but if you don't finish either race, you're not having a great time, and you're not going to get a good score. I have to give someone a 0, and it feels right to give it to the person last in the championship, other than Banman, but Banman isn't the worst, we know that. Then, the PHM Racing team, Joshua Dirkston, I'll give him a 4. As predicted at the start of the season, it's looking like a tough season for the PHM Racing team, but Joshua is keeping up with his teammate in quali and beating him in both races. So even though no points scored, had a drive he can stand up for. Tanner Barnard, his teammate, many expected Barnard to destroy Dirksen all season long, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen. I can forgive Barnard a little bit, similar to Antonelli, missing the F3 step, so he didn't score a point, and got beaten by his teammate in both races, but he kept it clean and finished both races, so he's not as worse as some of the other drivers are this weekend. These are my ratings. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Peace.